Alrighty, today is another day, and it's about that wood going on this trailer. And I even got some help from my friend Dell. There he is. He's ready to rock and roll and work. He's always offering help, so I took him up on it. So we actually have it laid out. I did some figuring before I ordered the lumber, and we have 2x8s by 20 feet and 2x8s by 14 foot. And everything has been measured from the front of the trailer going back to this point right here to overlap the cradle and actually the frame of the trailer to add more strength for any sort of deflection. And actually you could see I have some key points here with forms of a jack stand and logs and what have you over there and one over there. And I have it up a little bit to create a little bit of a crown on the trailer so that once we screw the deck down, it'll actually deflect in a point where it could either stay that way or be totally flat. It's nothing major coming up, but I wanted a little bit, just enough. So the wiring actually is being put on hold at this point. I do have a lot more to do on it, but it's a Saturday, and my guy here is helping me, so took advantage of it. Got the wood delivered yesterday, and we're going to get started a little bit on it. I'll show a little bit of what we're doing, how we're doing it, and then I'll have to put you on pause so you don't get bored with us cutting and drilling and so forth. But the plan is, as the board right now is measured, ready to cut, and it will get tucked underneath this lip right here. I'll probably have to trim the top so it goes in. And the same thing over here, because the first piece that we cut is ending right here in front of the diamond plate where the housing for the wheels are. So that's our first piece. It's already been measured out, and we'll save the rest of what that first 20-footer is for this back piece right here. And then the rest will be the 14-footers going with it. So I'm going to put you on the stand and show you what's happening and hopefully make the most of it. Are you ready, Dal? Yes, sir. All right. There we go. All right. To help with a nice square cut, you can always use this and have the saw fence of the saw ride the rail basically. So we're going to do some trimming on the top side. You know what? Let's see what side looks better. This side. Alrighty. And I'd say that is maybe 1.5 inches in. 1 3/4 inches. And we have to do the same thing down that end, but probably only 3/4 inch. And we'll set the depth. Right now we're actually making a little bit of a shelf right here, eliminating it so that it'll slide inside that rail and help lock the wood in. Thing down at that end. So I'll go that way and We're moving on up to the east side. To that deluxe apartment. Alright, I know this side's 3/4 of an inch.
You said 3/4?
Yeah, 3/4 for this, yeah. Because that top thing is 1.5 inches, and when I set it up, I split it down the middle. If you were, so, we'll see if it fits. I'll see if I actually even have. I think I even might have some. That's a pretty good idea. All right, well, grab that in, and we'll see if it fits in there. Yeah, we have to go from out and then slide it in. Yeah. Okay, what we're doing right now is we're going to try to slide it in there, and if it doesn't, because it's too tight, then I'll have to trim it. Does it want to tuck in, or more has to come off?
Yeah, no. Well, you actually will. But it's catching right here.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, because it definitely has to go to you.
Yeah, no. But see, right there is.
Oh yeah. All right. Let's see. Yeah, let's make it a little thinner. Let me check this side out before we take it off. Okay, push your end out. Yeah. If you want, lift up over the rail. There you go. Yeah, this side seems to be nice. Yeah, so we just have to trim a little bit off your end. So. Harder when the pieces are taller. Knowing that we were just trimming it, it's easier on the blade to make that happen. So the first piece, I guess, is going to be our learning piece. Wouldn't you say? Yeah. All right. Well, here's the trick to the trade. You got to go a little bit more. More. Okay, go. So we'll go in. So that would be in all the way? All right, so what we might have to do is trim some off. Yeah, that is tucked right up in there. Yeah, well, cow. That's a beautiful thing. Looks like two professionals doing a hell of a job. No. All right, so I'm going to zoom you in on the professionalism of Mr. Dell. All right, fits really nice. Goes right into that groove. Fit in there really nice. And this side, the same thing. Oh yeah, it's a beautiful thing. All right, so what we're going to do now is put some screws down in for the first time trying it out. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. It's the first time ever using these kind of screws for a wood deck, but I think we'll be golden, hopefully. I did bring the tools out needed. They are Torx. Most of these companies will give you the Torx bit that you need, but this one didn't. We're kind of going to third it. A third in and a third in, so to speak. Won't have to do it here because it'd be pretty much impossible on this end. We won't have to worry about the far end because it's already locked in, and once these go in, I think we'll be fine. Yeah, try this spot here first. See what that does.
I don't know if I like that either.
Yeah, I don't think it did anything. Do you?
Nah, didn't feel like it. Yeah,
No, it didn't.
Grab, yeah.
What kind of crap is that?
Isn't that long enough?
Let's see. I think it is.
Right, that should have been grabbing. I didn't feel it grabbing nothing. Normally you feel it, it'll torque it down.
You're right.
Down. I didn't feel none of that.
Me either. The thread would be at the other side of the metal, so you think it would be enough when when you do it like this.
I don't feel no thread. You feel thread?
No, it's right at. You can't see this part, but you can catch the full length of the drill bit part.
Don't you need something longer than that?
Maybe we just countersink it before we actually see what happens. We're testing the waters here. Let me get a countersinker
That's crazy.
and see what happens with that. Yeah, I don't like that.
It looks like you nigga, it's not grabbing on the threads at all.
It just started to, like, right?
Yeah, it just started to. It's probably not bad. I think it just needs some longer.
Well, if we countersink it,
yeah, it'd be better because then you can catch more. You should be able to catch more now then.
because it was sticking up some.
Yeah.
Yeah, give that a shot. Ooh, it went in, right? No, let it tight. You did it. We'll go, yeah, tighten it up. And I'll do that one and see what happens. There you go. Perfect.
Better.
We're going to do it that way.
Better.
Yeah, much
All right.
better.
Yeah, much better.
I wonder if I can do the whole drill process with this. I'm going to do a little thing and put it on pause. Okay, so we figured it out. We're going to pre-drill and then countersink because those screws really weren't going in far enough to grab. So now you got the picture. I'm going to put you on standby and I'll be back. Okay, we're back and we're moving along. He's removing the ratchet strap. We put the straps around there to keep it so that everything stays flat and true to the board prior, which in the beginning, you follow the rail. So we had 3 straps. Here's one. He just took one off and we popped the middle one out. These 2 pieces are in, sitting really nice. And now 20 feet of it ends right here, which is what I wanted to overlap past the cradle seam. So the next one will be the same, and then the next and the next till we get to the other side. And then we'll start with the 14 footers and put them in place. So now that you see the progress, I'm going to have you on standby and I'll show you as we go along. Okay, we are moving along. We decided to continue backwards towards the back of the trailer. We got the 2 fill-in pieces here, and we just put in another piece here. I only got down putting the screws in there, and we're moving along. So it's just to show you that the progress is moving, and put you on standby one more time. Okay, we're back. It's the next day, and we're back at it again, and we're going to keep rocking and rolling, and hopefully get a little bit more done today, being that we got the system in check. So that's the scoop so far. And I don't want to bore you with all the silliness of watching us drill holes and putting the hardware in it, but that is the plan. And as we're moving along, I will chime in and show you the progress. Okay, this is our progress. Just there at the halfway point, moving along. The unfortunate part is we're now out of fastening screws. Been waiting on them. Maybe they'll show up soon, maybe they won't, but in the meantime we're going to keep going and at least cut them, make all the little fancy cuts, like for the stuff that goes inside here, and have them all ready so that if they don't show up till much later, then tomorrow I'll be able to just drill them and screw them down and leave it at that. So I'll get back with you and show more progress. Okay, well, we're back. And as you can see, that main section of the deck is done. And even though we don't have the screws to screw it all down, have 9,998 screws to go, we can at least get to the point where they're all in place. And boy, it came out really nice and tight. Absolutely solid. My boy Dale there has done a hell of a job. He did it all by himself.
Yes, I did.
So there's this section here and that little tail section. I thought for a moment that one of the pieces of the 20-footers, because they're 20-foot lengths and it's only like an inch shy of 20 feet here at the seam forward. But we thought one of the 20-footers we were going to have to send back because it looked like a beaver or a woodchuck there really took a gnaw out of it, which is, let's see if I can zoom in up here. Yeah, you can kind of catch that piece right there. And out of a 2x8, and which would measure out to 7 3/8, there was where that notch was a full inch gouged out of there because it measured out a solid piece of 6 3/8. So we only need 5 inches of that wood, and it worked out well. So we didn't have to send it back. But that's the story on this so far. It's turning out great, and when it's done, I'll get right back with you. Okay, we're back. And as you can now visually see, the main course is laid down. Still waiting on the hardware, but it is getting dark. And what's left is this section right here. And I think it's a total of 7 pieces that's left to be cut and put in place. So tomorrow is another day that will take place, and we'll finish that up. It was a great help for Mr. Dell to come here and give me a hand. There, he's giving you the thumbs up. But like I said, tomorrow will be the finishing day to where not only will I put the wood down and do about 9,000 more screws to keep it there, and then I can go back to finishing up the wiring, lights, hooking up all the components up front, and put my wheels and tires on it, which I gotta paint them. And they will be white. And that'll be that. And then I get to take it for a road test. But until then, see you tomorrow. Well, it is the next day, and the chief in charge, Puss in Boots, is definitely satisfied with the work being done. She did her thorough inspection. Yep, she's giving me tails up. She's letting me know it's all good. See? She just said so. That's right, she's loving it. And so am I. So I got to get started on putting about 1 million screws in because we ran out, like I mentioned yesterday. We had to wait. And I'll probably do some of putting them down and then go finish cutting the wood, the rest of it, and get it in place there and go back to drilling and putting the hardware in. Yep, she's checking it out. Definitely giving it a thorough inspection. She knows what's going on. Yep. She's going to take a break. And she's sitting. She's sniffing. Well, all right. Well, I'll get back with you and show you the progress. So hang tight. Okay, I'm back. And I decided to take a break from doing the drilling and putting the fasteners in there, screwing them down, and decided to head down towards the tail end and do some cutting and fitting. But as I'm going, I'll put a few screws in there to hold them in place. So to kind of give you an idea of another thing we had to do as we went along yesterday and putting those boards in, and to keep them running as true to the trailer as possible. So I'm going to show you what we had to do. So I'm going to take it down yonder. It's a good example. This is it's a short run, but we would use the ratchet straps, and you got to use a pretty strong one anyway. Doesn't have to be the one for tractor trailers, but the little ones for four-wheelers might not have the oomph that it needs. So what we'd end up doing is to keep them running straight, and we had to do that up towards there as well. So this is pretty much the method. And as we got along and we were just cutting and fitting, and the boards are pretty straight. So it wasn't like they had a wicked crown in them or anything, but at the end, what helped it really finish out is at the end where the 5-inch piece that had to be cut ended up keeping it true all the way through. It squeezed them in really nice if they were a little bit out. It took a little work getting them in there, but at the end of it all, it worked out really well. And the same thing with this section over here where the level is at. Fitting it in there and having a nice tight fit. So it all worked out well. And as I go along, I'll be most likely doing the same thing. These boards that are left that we cut from the 14-footers that did the second section of it back, that you can see the two different colors, even though came from the same place, but the darker colors were 14-footers and the lighter colors were 20-footers, and that's where 20 feet ends right there. But these look pretty straight. Anywho, that's at an angle, but they all look pretty good, so I don't think I'll have much of an issue with them. But just to kind of give you an idea, and what I'll end up doing is drilling them. I'll show you the process. You'll find it's monotonous, basically. But I'm going to set it up on the camera, give you a little taste of it, and see just how long it takes to actually screw these things down. The kind of bits that we got have a drill bit tip on them. That's what these things are made for. But they don't drill as fast as using a regular drill bit. So I found that drilling it first and then putting these in there, it goes a lot faster. I tried both ways, and it's just a lot easier and quicker to do the drill bit first. And the diameter of that is either the same as this or just a little bit smaller. You definitely don't want it bigger, because then these become useless. So that's that scoop. And then I have, this is one of those types of bits that I've mentioned in the past that some people like and some don't, and I do. And I'm using this to create the countersink that makes this comfortable for those screws to go into. And then using the rigid 1/2-inch drive with the Torx bit to stick them in there. So that's the scoop. Let me do a couple, and to give you an idea on just how long it takes. One hole. That's the second one. I'm putting 2 in per rail, which is perfect, I think. And I countersink it. And I grab 2 of these along with this. That's one. That's two. So that's pretty much giving you an idea of why it just gets to the point where, okay, I had enough of drilling and screwing them and countersinking, and figured take a break, put a few of these boards in, and then before you know it, I'll be stuck doing the rest that has to be done. So it is what it is. It's got to be done. There's no choice in the matter. I don't want to leave them without any screws in it. I want to have a nice, tight, secure setup here. And the next thing I know I'm going to be doing later on, I'm going to go to Home Depot and check out the paint that I can put on top of this with some anti-skid that would be mixed in with it. From what I understand, it's two separate products, and I'm going to check into that later. When my friend is actually there, he's going to show me what's used. And then I'm going to pick out a color, a light color. I don't want anything dark. I don't want that sun beating down on this trailer. But even though this is pressure treated, I do want to seal it with something else, and this way it'll last even longer, I hope. And really getting excited about having it all finished and being able to use it. Even just to take it for a test drive, just to see how it handles with the truck, and then put some weight on it, see how it handles that way. I'm pretty sure it's going to be quite interesting. So I'm going to get to it. I'm going to put you on standby, and once this section here is done and mounted, I'll show you it, and that'll most likely end the video for putting down the wood deck on it, and then move on to finishing the what's left of the wiring and all the lighting and extra fixtures that I'm putting on the trailer. And I think my tires will be here either Wednesday or possibly Thursday, maybe even Wednesday. I got a call telling me within the next couple of days, so that'd be nice. They said the latest would be Friday, which I believe is Valentine's Day. So that's that. And if I get them sooner, great. I'm just going to make sure I have the rims ready, nice fresh paint, and ready for the new tires to go on it, which I'll be putting them on by myself. But stand by. Okay, I'm back real quick, and not having a helper like I did yesterday, that clamp is serving as my helper, especially when I go to cut inward this way. It needed to be held, so that's the only way I know is to use a big bar clamp, using that part of that telephone pole to give me some thickness and a little bit more height. So that's what I'm using to do that. That's my helper. And the other things that I didn't mention to you folks is that I actually vacuum up the drillings from all this, because when you drill into the metal, as you know, the metal chips that come out of it are pretty sharp. So I didn't want, Puss in Boots to end up in her paws, in those little pads she's got, because I believe that I think if she stepped on them, it would definitely probably cut into her paws, and I don't want that to happen. So not only am I drilling and doing all this stuff, I take the extra time to use the vacuum, the shop vac, to vacuum it up so it's that much less on the ground. And so far I think I've been able to maintain not having those metal chips end up on the ground, because she does walk around here a lot. So as I drill them and I get a certain amount done, like a board, then I go and vacuum them up, and then I move on to the next board. But I thought I would share that with you, keeping my Puss in Boots feet, paws safe from any metal debris from cutting her up. So I'll be back. I got those two that I just showed you that were fastened in by the strap. I got this thing measured and cut. Now I just got to cut the notch out so that it fits into the slot that's created at the end of the trailer. So I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, and I said I'd be back once this back section was done, and it is done. Cut, slipped, slapped in there, and screw down. Even did a little fancy cutting down through here. Yep. But all that's left now is to finish screwing down the rest of the deck and then top it off with some paint, some sandy paint. I know I have 5 screws left in that box and 100 left in that box, and I hope and sure that 105 screws will be enough. Put my tires, wheels and tires on there, paint the wheels white, definitely clean up this mess. There's a big mess, and I'll be able to roll this thing back and see what it does. Absolutely. So this is going to be it for the wood part deck of this video. Yep. No need to show the rest of the screws. Probably 105 will probably be used. Hope not, because that's a lot of drilling and screwing. But nevertheless, there's no need to go further on it, seeing that it's all down. So I do appreciate people watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I really do. And if you like it, give me a like. You can always subscribe if you haven't yet. Make a comment if you like. I'd appreciate it. And until next time, go get something done. Thanks for watching.